Listen closely. There is a power in you right now that is greater than any obstacle, stronger than any fear, and ready this very second to manifest the life you desire. But most people weaken this power by asking, hoping, and waiting. They do not realize that the infinite mind does not respond to begging. It responds to certainty. Today, you will learn a truth that can change your entire destiny. You can command miracles with a single, focused, 7-second impression on your subconscious mind. 7 seconds of absolute conviction, 7 seconds of feeling your desire as already fulfilled, 7 seconds where doubt cannot enter and the universe begins to rearrange itself in your favor. Your subconscious is not a judge, it is not a critic, it is a servant, obedient, powerful, and precise. It takes the emotional blueprint you give it and turns it into form with unstoppable intelligence. So, stop asking, stop hoping, stop waiting for permission. Today, you will learn to speak the language of creation, to impress your mind with certainty, to command the good that is already yours by divine right. Your miracle does not begin tomorrow, it begins the moment you decide. It begins the moment you feel the truth of your desire clearly, boldly, and for just 7 powerful seconds. Your subconscious obeys certainty, not begging. This truth is one of the most powerful principles of mental and spiritual law, yet most people overlook it because they believe that pleading, asking, hoping, or repeatedly wishing will somehow convince the universe to help them. But the subconscious mind is not moved by desperation. It does not understand fear-based requests. It responds only to the feeling of conviction, the quiet, inner certainty that what you desire is already yours. Whenever you beg, you are sending a message of lack. You are affirming that you do not have what you want. And the subconscious, being perfectly obedient, mirrors that condition back to you. It produces more lack, more waiting, more distance between you and your desire. But when you hold a feeling of certainty, even for a brief moment, you are transmitting a completely different signal. You are telling your subconscious that the thing you desire is now a part of your inner reality, and what is accepted inside must eventually appear outside. Most people believe that intensity of desire is what manifests results. They think that wanting something badly enough will somehow convince life to deliver it. But the truth is that intensity of desire often works against them, because intense wanting comes from a sense of not having. The subconscious mind works like fertile soil. It grows whatever seeds are planted in it, whether those seeds are fear or faith, begging or certainty. When you beg, you plant the seed of not having. When you believe, you plant the seed of possession. And the subconscious responds with absolute neutrality by bringing forth the harvest that matches the dupe seed. Certainty is the language of creation. When you speak to your subconscious with certainty, you speak with authority. You speak from the end result. You no longer ask for the blessing, you embody it. You no longer plead for the outcome, you accept it in advance. And this acceptance is the signal your subconscious needs to begin reorganizing your reality. Every miracle, breakthrough, answered prayer, or sudden shift begins with someone moving from asking to assuming, from hoping to knowing. That inner shift is the turning point that opens the door to manifestation. The subconscious mind does not respond to the number of times you repeat something, it responds to the emotional state in which you say it. You could repeat an affirmation 1,000 times and see no change if you are still operating from doubt, fear, or worry. But a single moment of inner certainty, a single moment where you feel the truth of your desire, can accomplish more than hours of desperate prayer. Certainty carries a vibration of completion. It is the mental equivalent of saying, "It is done." And when the subconscious receives that message, it begins to arrange circumstances, people, opportunities, and events to match that conclusion. To understand why begging does not work, consider the emotional tone behind begging. Begging comes from a place of weakness, insecurity, and confusion. It assumes that the power is outside you, that someone or something must be convinced to help you. But the subconscious responds only to the impression you give it. When you beg, you impress it with the feeling of being powerless, and so it reinforces that feeling in your outer world. Certainty, on the other hand, is rooted in the awareness that the creative power is already inside you. You do not need permission to have your desire. You do not need to struggle for it. Certainty is calm. It is confident. It is quiet because it knows. And this knowing is the force that commands manifestation. Think of the subconscious as a loyal servant. It does not think for itself. It does not reason. It does not question your orders. It simply says yes to whatever feeling dominates your mind. If you say, "I want success," while feeling unworthy or anxious, the subconscious accepts the feeling, not the words. But if you hold the feeling of already being successful, even for a short moment, the subconscious accepts that as reality and begins to express it. This is why the masters throughout history have taught, assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. This is not poetic language. It is precise instruction. Begging keeps your desire in the future. Certainty brings it into the now. And it is only what you claim as true in the present moment that your subconscious can manifest. When you stop asking and start believing, you unlock the hidden creative force within you. And once you learn to speak the language of certainty, your subconscious will obey you just as faithfully as it has obeyed your fears. 7 seconds of focused feeling activates manifestation. This idea may sound simple, but its power is immense because the subconscious mind operates on intensity, emotion, and clarity, not on time. A brief moment of concentrated feeling can impress the subconscious more deeply than hours of scattered thought. When you focus your mind and emotions entirely on the state you desire for 7 uninterrupted seconds, you generate a magnetic field of belief that the subconscious immediately accepts as truth. In that short span, you suspend doubt, fear, and contradiction, allowing only the pure essence of your desire to flow into the creative chamber of your inner mind. This concentrated impression acts like a spiritual command, giving the subconscious a clear blueprint to manifest without confusion or resistance. Most people never hold a single thought or feeling long enough for it to take root. Their minds drift, their emotions waver, and their attention scatters, before the subconscious can receive a complete message. But when you focus your emotional energy for 7 seconds with absolute clarity, feeling the fulfillment of what you desire as if it is happening now, you create a vibrational imprint strong enough for the subconscious to register. This moment of unity between thought and feeling becomes the seed from which manifestation grows. The subconscious does not need long explanations, repeated affirmations, or hours of meditation. It needs only a clean, concentrated impression that carries both belief and emotion. These 7 seconds are not about time, they are about intensity and purity. In your daily life, you often imagine unwanted outcomes with full emotional involvement. You picture failure, rejection, loss, or limitation, and you hold these images for several seconds with strong feeling. Your subconscious accepts those impressions and moves to express them. The same principle works for your desires. If you can give your subconscious a snapshot of the life you want with the emotion of relief, gratitude, joy, success, or completion, it will begin to create circumstances that match that emotional state. 7 seconds of pure feeling can outweigh years of weak, unfocused hoping. In those 7 seconds, you are not wishing or trying. You are inhabiting the state of the desired experience. You feel the end result. You give your subconscious a complete picture of what it feels like to already have what you want. This end feeling communicates more clearly than words. The subconscious responds instantly to emotional reality. It does not care how far away something seems physically. It accepts the image and begins pulling conditions into harmony with it. This is why the 7-second method is so effective. It bypasses the conscious mind's tendency to question, doubt, or analyze, and goes straight to the creative mechanism. The reason 7 seconds is powerful is because it is the threshold at which the conscious mind stops interrupting. For a moment, the inner critic grows silent, the anxious voice quiets, the mind becomes still enough to hold one feeling without interference. When you lift your mind into the feeling of fulfillment for these 7 seconds, you align with the reality you want. You send a clear directive to your subconscious, and that is all it ever needs. Manifestation begins the moment you impress the subconscious, not when you see results. The outer world simply catches up to the inner command. Most people spend their lives reinforcing feelings of worry, fear, and lack for far more than 7 seconds at a time. They do not realize that they are constantly manifesting just not what they want. When you learn to control your internal focus even for short moments, you gain the ability to shape your life deliberately. 7 seconds of certainty is more powerful than 7 hours of doubt. 7 seconds of imagining your desire fulfilled creates a stronger impression than months of vague wishing. This process works best when you are relaxed. In a calm state, the subconscious becomes more open and receptive. When the emotional charge is strong and the mind is still, the impression becomes vivid. Imagine yourself already experiencing what you want. Feel the emotion that naturally comes with having it. Let that feeling saturate your inner awareness. Hold it gently, without strain, for 7 seconds. That is all. The subconscious receives the message completely. The greatest spiritual teachers knew that manifestation does not come from effort, it comes from alignment. 7 seconds of alignment is enough to open the door. Because in those 7 seconds, you are not asking the universe for anything. You are declaring that you have it. You are stepping into the identity of the person who already possesses the outcome. And when you identify with something internally, your subconscious will reshape the external world to match your inner identity. This is the hidden power of 7 seconds of focused feeling, the power to command your reality from within. Assume the wish fulfilled to command outcomes. This principle lies at the heart of every great manifestation teaching, yet it is often misunderstood. When you assume the wish fulfilled, you do not merely think about your desire, you become the version of yourself who already has it. You shift your inner identity, your emotional tone, and your mental stance from longing to possession, from hoping to having. This act of inner acceptance is what shapes the subconscious mind, because the subconscious does not respond to empty wishes. It responds to the emotional conviction that something is already true. When you assume the state of your fulfilled desire, you are giving the subconscious a direct instruction, a complete and finished blueprint. And once this blueprint is accepted, the subconscious must express it in your outer world. Most people live in a state of contradiction. They want one thing, yet they think, feel, and act as if the opposite is true. They want abundance but feel lack. They want love but feel unworthy. They want success but imagine failure. This divided state sends mixed signals to the subconscious, which leads to stagnation and confusion. The law is simple. The subconscious manifests the emotional condition you occupy most consistently. If you assume the wish fulfilled, the subconscious receives a message of completion. If you continue to focus on not having what you want, the subconscious receives a message of deficiency. It is always the feeling that dominates, not the words spoken on the surface. Assumption is more powerful than affirmation because assumption carries emotional reality. When you assume something, you internalize it, you embody it. If you assume wealth, you feel prosperous before money appears. If you assume health, you feel whole before symptoms fade. If you assume success, you feel confident before the world recognizes you. This emotional shift is the only requirement for the subconscious to begin working. The outer world is simply a reflection of your inner identity. When the inner identity changes, the outer reflection must follow. It cannot resist. The law of subconscious obedience is absolute. To assume the wish fulfilled does not mean forcing a feeling or pretending something is true when you secretly doubt it. It means gently allowing yourself to inhabit the emotional atmosphere of your fulfilled desire. It may start as a small feeling relief, gratitude, confidence, joy, or quiet certainty. You do not need dramatic emotion. You need sincerity. If you can sincerely feel that your desire is already yours, even for a moment, you are practicing the art of assumption, and with repetition, this feeling becomes natural, steady, and dominant. When it becomes dominant, manifestation follows effortlessly. Every major breakthrough in your life begins with a shift in identity. You change your inner self-concept first, and the world rearranges itself to match who you believe you are. If you want to attract love, you must assume you are lovable now. If you want to attract abundance, you must assume you are abundant now. If you want a new life, you must assume you are already living it in consciousness. This is not imagination for entertainment, this is imagination used as a creative force. The subconscious treats imagination as reality. When you see yourself as the person who already has your desire, your subconscious accepts this as a fact and begins weaving circumstances to match that inner picture. The reason assumption is so effective is because it bypasses struggle. When you assume something is already done, you stop worrying about how it will happen. You stop questioning the process. You trust the creative mechanism within you. The subconscious works best when you release effort and move into the feeling of completion. Think of a seed planted in soil. Once the seed is planted, you do not dig it up every hour to check its progress. You assume it will grow. That assumption is faith, and faith is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. When you assume the wish fulfilled, you turn your desire from a future hope into a present reality within your mind. This is the only way the subconscious can bring it into physical form. The moment you accept your desire as true in your inner world, you set divine law into motion. You create a spiritual prototype of the outcome. And the subconscious meticulously constructs the outer conditions to match that prototype. This is why assumption is not merely a mental exercise. It is the governing principle of manifestation. It is the act of stepping into your future before it arrives, knowing that once the inner shift occurs, the outer world must transform. Your life changes the instant you choose to identify with the end result. That choice, quiet, internal, deliberate, signals to the brucked subconscious that a new reality is now active within you. And whatever is active within must eventually appear without. This is the power of assuming the wish fulfilled. It transforms desire into destiny by reshaping your inner state, which is the true cause behind every outer effect. Emotion imprints faster than words or thoughts. This is one of the greatest secrets of the subconscious mind, yet it is the least understood. People often believe that what they say or what they think is what creates their reality, but the real creative force lies in what they feel. The subconscious does not respond to sentences, logic, or reasoning. It responds to the emotional vibration behind your thoughts. A single moment of strong emotion can override hours of weak, scattered thinking. Emotion is the language the subconscious hears instantly and obeys immediately. When you feel something deeply, fear, joy, certainty, gratitude, worry, or success, you leave a powerful imprint on your inner mind, and that imprint becomes the blueprint for what eventually appears in your outer world. This is why you can speak positive words, yet see no results. If the words you say do not match the emotions you feel, the subconscious will always choose the emotion. It ignores the surface and obeys the deeper message. You can say, "I am successful" 1,000 times, but if you feel anxious or doubtful, the subconscious receives the emotional signal of lack and insecurity. You can affirm, "I am healthy," but if you feel fear or weakness, the emotional state is what enters the inner mind. The subconscious does not analyze, it accepts. And it accepts whatever emotion dominates, whether that emotion is wanted or unwanted. Your outer life is simply a reflection of the emotional states you have impressed most consistently. This principle works both negatively and positively. Think about times in your life when you worried intensely about something. You held the image with emotion. You replayed it. You felt it. And often the very thing you feared happened or something close to it. That is not coincidence. That is emotional energy manifesting through the subconscious. When you feel fear, you send a strong command. When you feel doubt, you send a strong command. The subconscious reacts instantly to emotion because emotion signals belief. Emotion tells the subconscious, "This is real. This is important. This is true." And the subconscious responds to what you believe, not what you wish. In the same way, when you feel gratitude, joy, confidence, and certainty, you activate the creative side of the mind. These emotions send clear instructions to the subconscious to generate matching experiences. Gratitude says, "I have received." Joy says, "I am fulfilled." Confidence says, "I am capable." Certainty says, "It is done." These emotional states impress the subconscious with the reality of your desire already being expressed. And once the subconscious accepts something as real, manifestation becomes inevitable. It begins arranging conditions, attracting opportunities, and directing your thoughts and actions in a harmonious way that leads to the fulfillment of the emotional blueprint you have given it. People often wonder why their affirmations or visualizations do not produce results. It is not because the techniques are weak, it is because they are done without emotional involvement. Visualizing the life you want while feeling empty, worried, or doubtful imprints the emotion, not the image. The image becomes meaningless without the emotional charge behind it. But if you visualize for a single minute with strong feeling, feeling the joy, relief, or excitement of the outcome as if it has already happened, the subconscious receives that signal instantly. It does not need repetition. It needs sincerity, emotional authenticity, and inner conviction. Emotion is the accelerator of manifestation. It speeds up the process because it bypasses the conscious mind completely. Words must pass through logic, thoughts must pass through belief systems, but emotion goes straight into the subconscious. That is why a sudden emotional experience, good or bad, can change your life overnight. A moment of inspiration can open new doors. A moment of intense fear can create blocks. A moment of deep gratitude can shift your entire energy. Emotion has immediate access to the creative center of your being, and whatever emotion you repeatedly cultivate becomes the foundation of your future experiences. To use this principle deliberately, you must learn to generate and sustain the emotional state that matches what you desire. If you want success, feel successful now. If you want love, feel loved now. If you want healing, feel whole now. Your outer world changes only when your inner emotional state changes. You cannot wait for the world to give you permission to feel the way you want to feel. You must feel first. The subconscious will then respond by shaping your conditions to match that inner feeling. Emotion is not just a part of manifestation, it is the engine behind it. When you master your emotional state, you master your creative power. Your feelings are not random reactions, they are intentional instructions. Every emotion you allow yourself to feel deeply becomes a command to the subconscious, and the subconscious, being obedient and creative, must bring those commands into form. Stop asking, start directing your inner power. This idea is transformative because it reveals the true relationship between you and the creative force within you. Most people live as if they are powerless, as if life is something that happens to them. They plead with the universe, pray from a place of desperation, and hope that something outside themselves will grant their desires. But asking places you in the position of a beggar. It assumes separation. It reinforces the idea that the power you need is somewhere else, above you, beyond you, or outside of you. When you ask, you are acknowledging lack. When you direct, you are acknowledging power. The subconscious mind does not respond to pleading. It responds to authority. It responds to instruction. It responds to the emotional certainty that what you desire is already your rightful experience. Directing your inner power is not an act of force, it is an act of alignment. It means recognizing that the creative intelligence that shapes your reality is not external, it is within you. The subconscious mind listens to the tone of your inner state. When you speak or think from uncertainty, fear, or doubt, your subconscious receives those feelings as commands. When you speak from calm conviction, confidence, and inner knowing, it receives those emotions as truth. Directing your inner power means choosing to embody the energy of fulfillment instead of the energy of yearning. It means giving your subconscious a clear, decisive message, instead of a weak, uncertain one. Asking often comes from the belief that something is missing. Directing comes from the recognition that everything you desire already exists in the unseen realm. Your job is not to beg for it, but to align yourself with it. When you ask repeatedly, you actually reinforce the idea that what you want is far away. Every time you ask, you confess that you do not have it yet. When you direct, you declare that it is done internally, and the subconscious moves to materialize that inner state. It is the difference between saying, "Please let this happen," and "This is my reality now." The subconscious cannot resist a directive spoken with feeling. It must follow the emotional blueprint you present to it. There is a quiet authority inside you that most people never use. This authority does not shout, it does not beg, it does not push, it simply knows. When you step into that knowing, even for a moment, you activate a power that can alter circumstances, shift outcomes, and open doors that seemed closed. Directing your inner power means speaking to your subconscious the way a master speaks to a loyal servant, with clarity, confidence, and expectation of obedience. You do not argue with it. You do not plead. You give a command through emotion, and the subconscious begins working instantly. When you stop asking and start directing, you change your role in your own life. You move from a passive participant to an active creator. You stop waiting for signs and begin generating them. You stop hoping for miracles and begin initiating them. This shift in mindset is what separates those who manifest easily from those who struggle. Manifestation is not about pleading for what you want. It is about accepting it internally and instructing your subconscious to produce the corresponding external experience. When you adopt this perspective, your entire relationship with life shifts. You stop feeling victimized by circumstances and begin influencing them from within. Directing your inner power is not arrogance, it is cooperation with natural law. The subconscious is designed to follow your emotional focus. It does not decide what is good or bad. It simply amplifies what you feel. When you feel powerless, it produces more limitation. When you feel empowered, it produces more opportunities. By directing your inner power, you are not forcing life to obey you. You are aligning with the creative principles that govern all manifestation. You are giving the subconscious a clear identity to express. This inner direction can be as simple as shifting your emotional state. If you want to attract something, embody the feeling of having it. If you want healing, embody the feeling of wholeness. If you want success, embody the feeling of confidence. When you do this, you are giving your subconscious a command. You are telling it, "This is who I am now." And because the subconscious is literal, obedient, and infinitely creative, it begins building your outer life to match that identity. Every breakthrough begins when you stop asking life to change and start directing the change from within. Miracles follow the blueprint you hold in mind. This truth explains why every person lives in a different world, even though we all share the same planet. Your outer life is not created by chance, luck, or circumstance. It is shaped by the inner patterns you consistently impress upon your subconscious. The subconscious does not choose your experiences. It simply follows the mental images, emotional tones, and assumptions you supply. These internal patterns form a blueprint, and your subconscious expresses that blueprint with absolute faithfulness. It never questions, never argues, never analyzes. It accepts whatever you repeatedly feel and imagine as the blueprint of your reality, and then it manifests outward conditions to match it. This is why two people with the same opportunities can produce completely different outcomes. One holds a blueprint of confidence, abundance, and possibility. The other holds a blueprint of fear, limitation, and doubt. The subconscious faithfully expresses both. Your inner blueprint consists of your dominant beliefs, the emotional states you visit most often, the images you mentally rehearse, and the identity you assume. These inner elements combine to form the instructions your subconscious follows. If you imagine yourself succeeding, feel yourself succeeding, and identify as someone who succeeds, your subconscious builds a life that reflects this pattern. If you imagine difficulties, feel overwhelmed, and identify as someone who struggles, your subconscious will construct experiences that match that internal map. It does not choose what to manifest, it manifests what is already chosen in your inner world. This is why changing your life begins with changing your inner blueprint. Every breakthrough, every healing, every opportunity, every miracle traces back to someone adopting a new inner pattern. They saw themselves differently, they felt differently, they shifted their inner story. That shift created a new blueprint, and the subconscious followed. The outer world cannot resist the inner pattern because the subconscious works through your actions, your expectations, your intuition, and even the way others respond to you. It arranges circumstances with precision, drawing what matches your emotional architecture. Miracles happen not because the universe suddenly favors you, but because your inner pattern aligns with the reality you desire. Most people try to change their lives by working only on the external world, more effort, more struggle, more force. But this is like repainting a house while ignoring the structural blueprint. Real change happens from within. When you hold a new image in your mind, your subconscious begins searching for ways to express it. It alters your perceptions so you notice opportunities you once overlooked. It shifts your behavior so you act in alignment with the new pattern. It influences your energy so people respond to you differently. The miracle is not something random, it is the natural unfolding of a new blueprint. Your inner blueprint is always active. Even now, it is determining how you interpret your experiences, what you expect from life, how you respond to challenges, and what you believe is possible. If your blueprint is filled with old limitations, memories, fears, past failures, it will continue producing the same outcomes. But the moment you offer the subconscious a new pattern, even if it is small, it begins reshaping your world accordingly. You do not need perfect belief, you need a stable direction. You need to present the subconscious with a clear emotional picture of the life you desire. It will fill in the details with far greater wisdom than your conscious mind can imagine. Miracles follow your blueprint because the subconscious does not know the difference between imagination and reality. If you vividly imagine yourself healed, joyful, or successful, the subconscious accepts that mental movie as fact and begins coordinating everything in your life to match it. This is why visualization is powerful when infused with emotion. This is why assuming the wish fulfilled works. This is why feeling the end result brings manifestation. You are not creating the miracle by force, you are supplying the blueprint for its creation. When you change your inner pattern, the outer world must change. It is law, it is automatic, it is inevitable. Miracles are simply the external expression of a new internal pattern. And the most remarkable truth is that you can change this pattern at any moment. You can hold a new vision, embrace a new feeling, decide a new identity. And when you do, the subconscious begins moving in that direction immediately. It does not wait. It does not hesitate. Your outer life may take time to adjust, but the miracle starts the instant the blueprint changes. The moment you declare a new inner reality, the creative power within you begins shaping your world to match it. This is how miracles unfold from the inside out, following the blueprint you carry in your mind. As we close this message today, hear me clearly. Your mind is the workshop where miracles are born. Every thought you nurture, every belief you water, every vision you dare to hold, these are not accidents, they are seeds. And the moment you align your thoughts with faith, expectation, and divine intention, those seeds begin to move, they begin to breathe, they begin to become. You are not waiting for a miracle, you are carrying one. The formula is simple, yet life-changing. Think with clarity, believe with conviction, act with courage, and trust with your whole heart. When your thoughts rise to match the greatness God put inside you, the universe has no choice but to respond. Doors open, paths clear, mountains shift. Life bends toward the power of your renewed mind. So walk out of here today with this truth burning in your spirit. You are the author of your story, the architect of your reality, the conductor of your destiny. Your thoughts are not small. Your thoughts are not weak. Your thoughts are miracle-making instruments in the hands of a limitless God. Hold the vision, guard the mind, speak the promise, and watch the miracle unfold. Your transformation begins the moment you choose it. Your miracle begins the moment you believe it.